Wine wanted the dress Jungkook got for her. It was a simple dress, but it was what caught her eyes when she was in an outing with him. She never asked for it, but it only made her feel special that his eyes were always noticing her. She stepped out of the closet to find him doing hand push ups. He was shirtless as he effortlessly continued his workout. Ryan, how do I look? He paused his actions for a moment and raised his head to look at her. Slowly getting back in his standing position, his eyes took in her whole presence. Jungkook, you always put me in a dire situation, princess. He stepped closer to her, tugging her hair behind her ears. How am I supposed to put my answer into words? She blushed, and he took her lips in between his, tugging onto the lower one before pulling back. Ryan, I want you to come home with me tonight. I think we should tell my father about our relationship now. They knew better than anyone that they had loved each other. It was the first time he saw her, and he was head over heels for her. Flashback. Jungkook drank the wine through his glass. He was clad in a three-piece black Armani suit that was tailored to fit specially on him. His eyes took in the lady who shone like an angel through the crowd of hundreds. She got his whole focus on her, and since his eyes first fell on her, he was a goner. The way she stayed with her friends, laughing over something he couldn't hear, or how she took pictures and posed for them. It was the bare minimum moves he was appreciating her for. He got to interact with her, share their names, and he was proud of the fact he made her blush over his unique praises only for her. Jungkook, oh, I'm going to make you mine very soon. End of flashback. The only problem here was that she was the daughter of his rival. The rivalry between two empires has been continuing since the time of Jungkook's grandfather era. He pretty much succeeded in convincing her to keep their relationship private for now, but he knew this had to come one day. Ryan, you said once we are sure we want us to be forever, we will talk to my father. Jungkook, that I surely did. Ryan, I'm sure of us now, Jungkook. Are you? Jungkook, of course, Ryan. You know very well you are the only lady who got my eyes. He wrapped his arm around her waist, pulling her close to him. The thought of getting separated from her was enough to draw his breath away. Jungkook, and if that's what gives you assurance, then we will do it. Perfect, she exclaimed and pecked his lips, stepping away. You may continue your workout while I admire the amazing man I'm blessed with. She winked and he smirked, getting back to his work. Wine took a seat on the couch, taking out her phone, pretending to use it while all she did was making a video of the way his muscles flexed every time he went down. God, what a man. Princess, I belong to you. You know that? She blushed. He always noticed her stare, even if he never looked at her. Instantly turning around, she cleared her throat. Ryan, of course, I know. So? Jungkook chuckled. A deep husky voice left past his lips, which sent shivers down her spine. Jungkook, I'd rather you own what is yours instead of fangirling from far away. She stood up, tossing her phone away. Jungkook might always succeed in making her flustered, but she could be bold too. Once she stepped near him, she leaned down a little and sunk her teeth on the side of his waist. It was a harsh bit, which made him stop his movements. He grunted, and she smirked out of satisfaction, leaving a kiss over the bite mark and pulled away. He turned around, grabbing her wrist, and pushed her against the wall. She looked at him with such a proud expression, and it only ignited the fire in his eyes. He loved this side of her. Princess, you started this. He kissed her, hands pinned on the wall, and back arched. She gave in without a fight. His kisses traveled down her jaw and neck. He knew how much he adored and loved the woman in his arms. He would fight anyone, even her own self, if it meant keeping her to himself. If there was one thing Jungkook knew for sure, it was her father rejecting him without a single thought. As much as he hated it, it came out true. Now Wine was back in her home, and as much as he wanted to throw a war, get her back, knowing he could win, it was her who stepped back. It was the pain of betrayal in her eyes when his lies unfolded before her. Closing his eyes, he took a deep breath before calling her. It surprised him that she picked up, but it was the sound of her crying that held him in a chokehold. She was hurt, and that was all because of him. Wine, why are you calling me now, after lying to me all this time? Jungkook, Princess, you need to listen to me. Wine, listen to what? This is why you didn't want me to talk to my father. Because you knew he would reject you. You made me fight my dad. You made me fall in love with you over some lies. Jungkook, my love for you is not a lie. Wyatt, I told you I'm a sensitive person. I told you I need my dad's permission before getting in a relationship. Because if later on he rejects it, it will break me. You both are enemies. Why did you lie to me? Why did you make me fall for you? How am I supposed to choose one between you two? Jungkook, because then you wouldn't even talk to me. You would never let me claim you. I have loved you since the first time I saw you. I had to make you mine. And I won't allow anyone else, including you, to take you away from me. Ryan, I'm never going to forgive you, Jungkook. You knew my situation. You knew my father will never allow. But you were selfish enough to get me in this relationship based on some lies. Jungkook's eyes turned dark. As much as he hated her crying and heartbroken, he hated the talk of her being away from him more. His instincts told him she was not going to pick up his call again. He was a made man. He knew how to get his things by hook or by crook. Jungkook, I'm taking you with me. His voice much deeper and serious than before now. Ryan, and I'm never picking up your call again. She almost moved her cell phone away to hang up the call, but his next words hit ground, slipping from under her feet. Jungkook, I have your pictures and videos, princess. I'm sure your father wouldn't like them getting leaked and circulating around the whole underground world. Seeing his daughter on her knees, begging his rival to provide her player. It was her blood turning white as she remembered those moments. She gladly allowed him to record her. She trusted him. Ryan, you, you won't do that. She put a hand on her chest, unable to breathe properly, but the silence from the other end told her there was no turning back. She was too deep into it, and there was only one escape: submitting to him. To be continued.